Hey there, DC. Welcome to a space where your voice truly matters. Welcome to the People's Voice, DC, the fastest growing local political podcast in our nation's capital. This platform brings you the stories that shape the community and the voices that drive change. Pastor Mike Campbell is the host and founder. The mission is to create a platform where every resident of DC feels heard and valued. The podcast isn't just about politics, it's about the pulse of the city. It's about you. It dives into the heart of the issues that affect daily lives, introducing the incredible co-hosts who bring their own unique perspectives and expertise to the table. First up, Lady Hi, the dynamic founder of Hair Prep. Her energy and passion for housing is truly inspiring. She is a powerhouse advocate for affordable housing and emergency preparedness. Lady Hi has dedicated her life to ensuring that every child in DC has access to quality living. And then there's Sir Chris Otten, a man with a deep understanding of the political landscape of the city. Chris is known as a former DC City Council and mayoral candidate, but around here, he's the go-to guy for tough questions. He has quickly become a fan favorite. Together, the three hosts are committed to bringing the stories that matter, the issues that affect everyone, and the voices that often go unheard. The People's Voice. DC is more than just a podcast. It's a movement. It's dedicated to amplifying the voices of those who are often overlooked. Subscribe now and keep the conversation going. Engage on social media, share thoughts, and be a part of the dialogue. They are Pastor Mike Campbell, Lady Hi, and Chris Otten, a voice for the people. They are grateful for the support, financial or in presence, and they are excited for what's to come. Thank you for your continued support. Hit that subscribe button. Send stars and hearts. Share, repost. Send in your comments and questions. Let's continue to amplify voices and make a lasting impact. Turn those notifications off and don't miss a minute of the People's Voice, DC.
Welcome to the People's Voice, DC. Another edition. How are you guys doing today? Lady Hi, Chris.
I think we got to work on that video. I think I heard hair prep.
Yeah.
Instead of high alert, I heard hair prep. Is that right? Sean's hair is great.
Higher prep, Yeah.
They need to edit that part.
It was a narrator from a different culture.
I mean, Sean's hair looks great and everything, but high alert.
Man. But yeah, that's why I brought us back on to kind of like view it. That was our first showing of it, and we definitely want the audience to let us know what they think of the new intro. We always welcome your input. But we're gonna get right into it. We have Mrs. Precosha Long Ofer. She is the parent ambassador, the team mom of the Ballou High School, our Knights, a beloved school right here in Ward 8 in Washington, D.C. Might I add, the high school that my very own father graduated from. We have her, and we also have Lady LaJoy Johnson, who is the state board rep for Ward 8. So we're going to welcome on Mrs. Precosha and LaJoy onto the show, and allow Precosha to, she wants to voice her concerns that she has in general for Ballou and for the state of education in Ward 8. How you doing, Lady Long? Madam Long Ofer, are you with us? If you're talking, you muted. see the video. We can't hear you. So while Madam Long is getting her audio together, we're just going to go right into some of the concerns that are going on right there now in Ward 8. And I just want to bring up a little statistic concerning the literacy. This statistic says that it talks about DC's literacy divide. It talks about 50% of the literacy rates in Ward 7 and 8. It talks about only 17% of DC adults are living in poverty. And we know that this means that the kids are also living in poverty. It talks about the reading literacy as well as the math literacy. And you guys can see the chart. I don't want to bore you and read the entire chart and stats. But we know all too well the things that are going on as far as teacher retention in our city. It's hard, seems to be hard to be happening. I've heard a lot of stories of teachers just, jumping from the public school sector, DCPS, to chartered schools, moving on over to schools in PG County and Montgomery County, or even on over to Virginia. More and more parents feel like their kids are not safe in our DC schools. And the mayor, as well as our council, has even acknowledged a huge problem with chronic absenteeism. So, how you doing today, LaJoy?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I'm good. I'm sorry I'm in the car. I'm on my way to a youth candidate forum that I'm helping to host. And so I am multitasking, but I love y'all and wanted to come say hey and talk about the issues. I can't stay too long, but I definitely wanted to come on and support because I love the show. I've always wanted to come on. And so I had to come and be like, hey, y'all. Yeah, so you got me in the car, as Abria says, in the car.
Listen, this is how Ward 8 residents know that they voted for the right person.
What?
She's so, you can see right now, like even on the show, she's working. She's on the way to putting in work for Ward 8. Like, this is what she do. This is who she is. This is LaJoy Johnson Law.
No.
And if you needed any more of an introduction, I just had to show this quote. She says, advocacy is my love language, and I remain deeply committed to fighting for all of Ward 8, including our public charter schools. That means a lot to me as an employee of a public charter school. I look forward to working together to create the best possible outcomes for our students and families. LaJoy, all I can say is thank you.
Oh my God, friend. First of all, I love you, and I'm just proud of the work that you're doing. And secondly, I love my ward. Like, I love my community. I love my babies. I love my daughter. I love my families. But we have to change the narrative about this rivalry public system. And as a mother, and I just want folks to know, when I was running, there were no moms. Remember, Mike, we talked about this. There were no moms on the school, on our version of the school board, right? And so now that I'm elected, I'm the only mom on there, and I feel a sense of responsibility.
Did we lose LaJoy?
See? Okay, I'm back. Somebody had
Okay,
to
yeah.
call. I had to ignore them real quick. But real quick, Mike. So a lot of our families, right, have children in both public and public charter. So I think to fight for one and to not fight for the other, I think that's disrespectful to parents because are we saying that we care about one child and not the other? You know what I mean? Like, do we care about a child that attends a DCPS school but not a charter? Do we care about a child that attends a charter but not a DCPS school? And so a lot of our families have children in both sectors. And so if I'm gonna represent folks on Ward 8, we have to really uplift that. You know what I mean? And I pray y'all
Yeah.
can still hear and see me.
Oh yeah.
Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you.
Oh Mike, can you guys hear me? Can y'all see me?
We can hear you very well.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can see you.
Do we need to go back? Hold on. Oh no.
Precaution, are you able to can you join us yet?
Can anyone hear me, see me?
Yes, we can hear you and see you. Oh,
It's okay. It's raining outside and folks signals are going in and out.
look, you see, before we even got started, mine messed up.
Okay, am I back? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
We hear you, see you.
It just tanked on me.
it's all good.
It just tanked on me. But no, but Mike, I was just saying like really quick, like I love both my DC public school kids, my DC public charter school kids. Like I have like a deep love for my children as if they were my own child, and I don't choose foolishness, which means I don't subscribe order. And this is me personally. I think it is disrespectful for anybody, any elected official, to represent anyone in DC and not have an inclusive spirit. You can't represent one side of the sector and not represent the other. Because our families in Ward 8 have kids in both DCPS and public charter, right? And
Right.
I'm thinking of a mom that has a Baloo student and she has a KIPP student. So are we telling this mom that we care about her Baloo student but not her KIPPster? Are we telling her that we care about her KIPPster but not her Baloo student? You know what I mean? And so I think we just really have to be mindful of that. And so me personally, why is this person driving on the other side of the road? Sorry, y'all know I love Word 8, but we got to work on driving skills. I'm just saying. I didn't make the rules. Okay, I didn't make the rules. But no, but for real, like I love my babies and I love my kids. I love my students as if they were my own. And I really pray that Ward 8 feels that. This is public servant work. This is not political to me. Oh, you're a politician. Miss LaJoy is a public servant serving God's people. And I really pray I want to leave something better than I found it. Okay, that's my spiel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. And that message of unity is what I think we need so much. Like there is so much division. And I'm just gonna focus on east of the river in here in Ward 7 and in Ward 8. And I gotta give a shout out to my church, Resurrection. I'm just happy to be at Resurrection because it just allows me to do much, to dive more into helping Ward 8 and doing more for Ward 8 and getting more involved. But like that message of unity is what I feel we need more and more. And I have to admit, I was caught up in this thing too, politically, like where we need to support our DC public schools. We need to stop putting all this money in charter. And I was wrong. We have to focus on and support both. And we have to stop this competition. We need the teachers to work together. We need our city leadership to work together. We need everyone to work together. We don't need the Washington Teachers Union to make sure that they're getting their teachers paid more than teachers that are in chartered schools. We just don't need these type of behaviors that have been going on. We need these behaviors to stop and understand that the same way how we just shut the world down and said, hey, look, there's a coronavirus right now, and we need to get this controlled and we need to fix this. That's how we need to look at it, and that's how important our children are, that we just need to shut everything else down and say, hey, look, let's focus on our kids. We have to fix this problem, ranging from crime to education to housing to poverty to mental health. Every single thing is affecting our children, and they're probably affecting our children even more than they're affecting us. And we have to understand that, and we have to come together to fix the issue, and we need to do it like yesterday.
Yep. I agree with that. As an advocate for education, I advocate for homeschool. I homeschool my child, but it went from being sole homeschooling to homeschooling through an online public charter school. And I really enjoyed that because, I never know when my mother's going to get sick. Like right now, she's in the hospital and we're making plans to go down and take care of her. And my daughter is still in school. So we can just pack up the laptop and the hotspot and just boogie out, and she doesn't have to miss a day of school. Whereas if she were in a brick and mortar, she would have these unexcused absences. So I really appreciate the online factor, and especially, because she gets done with her lessons and her class connects earlier than the kids in brick and mortar schools, which leave us time to go do other stuff. Like, the weather is nice and, we can go roller skating. We can go, I remember one time we was out camping. We were out camping and she was still at school. So, I mean, it's an educational experience on all levels. She got to see her mommy catch a salamander, and show her a live salamander. She got to see the what we call it, the cicadas, the shell of the cicadas and stuff like that. She's learning through online teaching and in experience, in life experience. So she's getting, I feel like, all kids should be able to have that, where we're as adults out here spending money on bills and groceries. And when we have the time to have some fun, then kids need to know where the money comes from. So she's finished class and we've gone down to the Bureau of Engraving and Printing so she can see how money is made. You know what I'm saying? I mean, any tour that we can take, she's going to take. So I appreciate the public charter aspect, because both of my children went to public charter schools. Atira throughout her educational career, and now her baby sister is doing pretty much the same.
Thank you. I think Chris, did you have a few questions for LaJoy? I think you had one or two. I think.
Yeah, I guess LaJoy, it's great to see you.
Hey, Chris.
Hi. Yeah, like, we see our students struggling a lot, and I'm really kind of tapped into sort of issues around housing and displacement and like affordability. And I wonder how much do you think that plays, like a steady, a steady home, a place that mom and dad can afford reasonably, how much that plays a role in educational outcomes.
Oh my God, huge. So I think and first of all, hey Chris, it's I feel like I've heard of you, but I've never got a chance to like officially meet you. So it's a blessing to officially meet you and see you virtually, of course. I'm hoping I get to see you in person soon. Two, thank you for the question. I am about to have a vulnerable moment. I'm a single mom, right? So I call myself the CEO of my household. That's what my mama says. She goes, we're going to change the narrative of single motherhood, especially Black single motherhood, right? And so years ago, oh Lord, what year was it? It was like 2015, 2016.
Please do not cry. I'm a sap. I will be crying on here with you, girl. Come on.
I promise myself, no, I'm not going to cry. But I promise, because I promise you it's going to tie in. I promise. But I have to always tell people, don't forget to tell your story. So that way people know where you're coming from and how you approach them and answer questions, right? So it was like 2015, 2016. I can't remember the year right now, but I had a writ of eviction. So my daughter has disabilities, and so I am her sole and primary caregiver. She's 13 now. She's doing a lot better. She was born really early. She was so small that she could fit in the palm of your hand when she was born. She's my miracle baby, right? But because she was born so early, she has a lot of health conditions. And it's better now, but back like 2015, 2016, from like 2011, honestly, really up until COVID, she's just in and out of the hospital. So that's affecting like how I work and all like the telework options that we have now. They weren't talking about a whole bunch of telework options, like back in 2015, 2016. Not the lights on. They didn't have all those telework options back in like 2015, 2016, right? And so I got jobs and I lost them. I got jobs and I lost them. And it just ended up, I had to go to court and I ended up getting a writ. At the time, I was going through a really bad divorce. My dad passed away. And when I say everything just kind of like went to hell in a handbasket, it just went to hell in a handbasket. And it was just like devastatingly hard. And I'm trying to raise Abria. I'm trying to get her to school. I'm trying to let the teachers know I had to have a heart to heart with one of her teachers because, she was like 3 or 4, but they saw like a change. She was just kind of like really moody and kind of sad because all of these different changes, are going on at home. So I'm trying to like stabilize this kid, stabilize myself, stabilize my emotions, and make sure that she has exactly what she needs. If we do not have Maslow's hierarchy of needs checked, if we're not clothed, fed, and sheltered and safe, really, how can kids learn? So there is a direct link to that. And I think that there are a lot of families who are just really trying. I have one child. A lot of families out here have 2, 3, 4, and even more, sometimes 5 or 6 children that they're trying to care for and making sure that all of their needs are met. And so I think as families, sometimes there's like a blaming game happening. And instead of us playing a blame game on parent or school or institution, we need to figure out, okay, what resources can we put in place? Do we need to have a community school model? There are a lot of schools that are now, some, I'm not going to say a lot, more needs to have it. But the community school model is a really great model to be able to implement, to say, this is generational. We can't just help the kid and not help mom or dad. And then we need to be real. There are a lot of kids out here who are being raised by grandma, great grandma, grandpa, like an elder aunt or uncle. Like there are a lot of folks who are not being raised by their parents. And then we have children who are being raised by their parents and maybe they're not as active for a plethora of reasons. And we have to figure out, how do we support them? How do we support that multi-generational model? So does it have a direct link to educational outcomes? Absolutely. If you're happy, if you're healthy, if you're safe, and if you're stable, your brain is able to absorb the information that is coming to you. And also too, teachers are having to respond to everything I just said and teach the content that they're supposed to be doing as well. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a lot going on at play here. And I think we just have to do a better job of having the systems talk to each other. We need to have, we need more resources for our families. But we also, sometimes we need to have come to Jesus moment, right? And that come to Jesus moment, I always say, Remember when Big Mama would talk to you back in the day, and she would give you that tough love conversation because maybe there's some choices that we need to talk out. Sometimes we need to have those come to Jesus moments with Big Mama, or one of the big mamas in the community, or someone in the church. But I think we also need to think outside the box a little bit too. How can we bring in? There's so many community partners here in Ward 8 and east of the river. There's so many. We have to be a little more innovative and figure out how can we partner with them and uplift them to be able to connect them with the schools more, and also just to connect them with the families and the kids, because the government is a part of the solution. That's not the end all be all. And I really want folks to really hear me when I say that. It really is going to take a multi-pronged approach to fix the issues. Government cannot solve this. Maybe the government is trying to figure out how they are finagling basically $1 billion, really to $2 billion deficit, which means you got to get innovative. Did that answer your question? That was a long answer.
Yes. No. It's absolutely. And yeah, I'm sort of trying to find ways that, we can have steady, safe, clean housing that's not based on the whims of whoever might be in the White House in terms of investment, disinvestment cycles, right? And so that way people can relax when they get home and not worry about mold or road infestation, and to your point being that all of these factors, steady shelter, clothing, food, sort of frees the mind to be open to what's being taught in class. I couldn't agree more. Thanks, LaJoy.
Oh, of course. Thank you for, I think, loving the community, loving our kids, loving our families. I mean, we're in a housing crisis, right? Like, we're in a housing crisis. We're in an employment crisis. We're in a budget crisis. It's like 5,000 crises that are happening. And I really think that I'm a woman of faith. And so I think that sometimes God will allow things to happen to be able to create room for more innovative solutions. This really is a time for innovation. COVID was hard and it was devastating, but there were some blessings that still happened out of COVID, right? I think that was a time for us to be innovative. But honestly, I think some of us dropped the ball. That was like, if you're gonna pause, then take the time to pause, reflect, evaluate, and also come up with other innovative solutions. Now you got to come up with an innovative solution in another crisis, and there is no pause button. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
LaJoy, I want to just take a moment. I know you've got to get ready to go, but first I want to just say we are launching our guiding lights for next year. We know that the government is doing some cuts in places, and so we're asking the communities, we're asking people in the city, spread the word, call us, send us an email, volunteer to be a guiding light for our students, because our students don't feel safe leaving school and going to school. And so if you think that you can help, maybe in the morning time, maybe in the afternoon time, we have kids that are leaving and going, trust me, you may not believe it, at many different times. So from maybe 6 in the morning to 10 in the morning, listen, if you're available, whichever time slot, reach out to us. We're trying to organize some safety for our kids, and we're not going to wait on the government's help here. So we just wanted to put that out there, and I wanted to just use that to ask you, what are your thoughts about the safety of our students? I remember working at Boone. There was still a gunshot bullet hole in the window from the previous years, when a young girl had got shot in the school. And so, what are your thoughts on some of the violence happening? And it kind of also, I want to ask you about when it talks about absenteeism. I know personally from being working in the schools with students that there's some days where students just ain't coming to school. They just don't want to get jumped. They just, like, safety does contribute to a child missing school. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you like my express response because they have text crazy like, ma'am, where are you? And I'm like, okay, guys, I'm coming. I gotta finish with Pastor Mike first. So the first thing is to the guiding lights. Yes, I do want to help. Let me check the schedule. I'm thinking Wednesdays because I have a lot more flexibility and help with my daughter because I'm also doing pickup and drop off, right? And my daughter goes across town, which actually goes into sometimes absenteeism because kids are zigzagging across the city, and you know what I mean. Like that affects absenteeism if
Yeah.
they're on transportation. And two things with transportation: you have OSSI transportation for kids with disabilities. The buses aren't always on time, whether they're picking them up late, whether they're for arrival or dismissal. That's another issue. Kids with disabilities again. Doctor's appointments, even though they're excused absences, that is still a part. That is part of the statute, right? That is a part of the absenteeism statute. That's contributing to it. Bullying is contributing to it. When I'm thinking about
Yes.
transportation, I'm thinking about
Mhm.
the beefs, right? And I'm not going to put them out there. I'm thinking of one school in particular where they're having issues. They're having some issues inside the school. They're having a lot of issues outside of the school because of neighborhood beefs. That's in
Mm.
Ward 8. So that's another issue. And that's just at the school, right? You're on the metro, or you have kids that are zigzagging. They're going to different schools. They're in different neighborhoods and they're having issues with other people too. And then you have to deal with inside the school with the students that are there if you're dealing with like a bullying issue or another type of safety concern. So again, it's a lot happening at the same time. And this is the thing. If we are gonna have a system of choice like this, we have to do a better job with more interconnections. And
Mm.
honestly, right now, I'm not sure what that looks like. I think that is something that needs to be built with everybody. I don't think that's an answer from one person, but whether it's like the deputy mayor for education, whether it's the deputy mayor for public safety, we need to have we got to do more coalition building. I think that is one solution. We got an innovative coalition building. It doesn't have to look like how you look at not basic coalitions, but the normal type of coalition.
Okay.
It could, you know what I mean? It could be like you said with Guiding Light. It could be, okay, I got 15 nonprofits, right, that are saying we got volunteers ready. They have went through the inspection, the background checks. They are checked out, right? They are able to work with children. They are cleared. Come on, FBI cleared. Not really FBI, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. Like, just for safety for the adults who are interacting with children. We got 15 nonprofits here, right? And we have 10. We got 10 volunteers in each one. That's 150 people that you did not have yesterday. Okay, I got Boone, I got Ketchum, I got Blue Montessori, I got DC Prep. So 8A Anacostia area. Hey, okay. Hey, I need I need 10 volunteers from 5 of you. That's 50. So I can disperse you out to the schools for arrival and dismissal. Can you do it? They're having safety concerns. This is beyond just like the safe passage workers. This is everybody, like people
Right.
who are known in the community. And again, not yes, violence interrupters, but violence interrupters, the safe passage workers, making sure the safe passage workers are trained and able to deal, but also just volunteers. Back in the day, the neighbors will walk you to school. Back in the
Yeah.
day, you know what I
Mhm.
mean. Sometimes we might have to go back to the old school and put an innovative spin on there, and trying to figure it out. If it's going to the churches, Pastor Mike, I'm looking at you, who know the different kiddos, who are from the different neighborhoods, and you're trying to figure out, well, what is the beef? Baby, I got food for you here at the church. Come to the table. Please do not bring your gun inside the church. Put it down for the moment. Put the guns down for the moment and have a conversation. What is the problem? And we really need to have more of those honest conversations. What is the problem? And the problem probably is a lot of things that are happening at the same time, unfortunately. But we need to have them, and we need to bring solutions to them. So that's my quick take on absenteeism, and kind of how it flows into the safety piece, which kind of goes back into what you were saying about Guiding Light, about those different things, which I'm happy to volunteer to do. let us connect offline and I'll check my schedule and we can see what we can work out to walk the kids to school. I would love it if it's in Ward 8, you know, just saying, you know. I'm a fours up. Come on, Ward 8. You know, just saying. But if it's somewhere else, okay. But I mean, I do prefer Ward 8. I'm just saying it's the best. God, the Bible said it. The last shall be first. Amen.
And that's why Ward 7 is getting the stadium. But
I'm not about to sit here and talk about that stadium on the show. I'm still trying to gather information. It's too much. I can't. I need to go to the Ward 7 town hall.
well, thank you for coming on here. You definitely have to come back another time.
I gotta come back for a full.
We love your yeah.
It's nice to meet you, LaJoy. This is the first time I've seen, met you.
It is a blessing to meet you, my dear. We need to also I'm gonna get your info from Pastor Mike. Let's connect. We need to connect offline so I can come and see you as well. Is that cool?
That is just fine.
Okay. All right, guys. I love you. I do. I gotta go. I gotta go, y'all. Because before they ring this phone again, let me skedaddle out of here. But Pastor Mike, Chris, and to everybody here on the People's Choice, thank y'all so much for having me. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for uplifting me, uplifting my daughter, uplifting the community. This is really hard work. It's not easy. Everybody learns every day. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but I do my best, to show up to be the best person I can every day. And some days I'm really proud of myself. And there's some days I'm like, okay, Lord, let me see another day. Let's try it again. Let's try it again so I can do better. But I really, really appreciate y'all and really love y'all. And my advice is to keep going. Don't stop. Don't let anybody silence you. Don't let anybody try to narrate your story for you. Tell your own story, tell your own truth, and uplift the people. That's really what this is about. We're in a very dark time, but guess what? There are still pockets of joy. In the words of Pastor Curry, she said, joy is an act of resistance. So keep your hope, keep your faith, keep your joy, and keep those moments that really show your light. And I love you now. I got to go.
Thank you.
Joy.
Bye, guys.
Wow. And now you see why I definitely enjoy LaJoy. I'm gonna try to bring before we go on to our next segment, I'm gonna try to bring Madam Precoscia back on and let's see if she was able to fix everything. Madam Long, are you there?
Yes, I've been here the entire time. I was trying to give my insight on what Miss Lovejoy and you all were talking about, and I guess no one could hear me. I was here the whole time. Everything that you all basically spoke on was everything that I was here to speak on today. I mean, there's nothing left for me to say. Yes, hi, my name is Precoscia Longofer. I am the president of the Parent Ambassador Organization at Ballou High School. I also was the team mom for several years for several of their athletic programs, and I still am. I also ran for ANC a few years ago for the 8E06 SMD of Ward 8. The issues that we are having surrounding our school, and some reason deep down inside of my heart feels like our school is the school that Miss Lovejoy didn't want to name, but I'm not scared to name it because I know the issues that we have within our building as well as our community. And it has been an ongoing thing for decades. Right now at Ballou High School, we are currently working on a forum. This idea of the forum took place after what the media considers a brawl fight that took place between Banneker and Ballou. After having that experience, as the president of the Parent Ambassador Organization, it made me realize that our parent force is not as great as it needs to be, especially when I got to the school that evening.
Did we lose her?
I think we lost her again.
Oh, and she was just getting to the juice.
Oh. Yeah, I think
That's
when
upsetting.
I think that was the part she wanted to talk about.
Oh, that's upsetting.
She's still on here, actually. There
My
we go.
apologies.
Okay.
My kids just keep blowing my phone up. I don't get a break. But I was saying before the phone rang, we have to be more of a force as parents. Um, our children don't always act as we expect for them to act when they leave our homes. We can't always paint the narrative of, oh, the kid's not raised at home, because I know that being a mom myself of 6, I have a son that just graduated from Ballou. I have a daughter currently in Ballou. I have a child at Achievement Preparatory Academy, which is a public charter school, which is located on Waller Place. He just got detention yesterday because he wanted to do the things that the rest of the boys do. But our motto every morning before leaving our home is be a leader and not a follower. We have to, as parents, be more involved, because all teachers aren't there for what it is that we expect for them to be there for. And these schools allow these students to be their voice when they have a voice, and that voice should be us. One of the things that I just had a meeting about today at Ballou is when children have altercations, they have what they call these mediations. They sit these children down, they make them sign a contract of agreement to not continue to have altercations with each other, but they continue. And the parents don't get to be involved in any of this until there's a fight, and children have to be suspended and things of that nature. Which, as a parent, I feel like if my child is having a conflict, it should be met head on with the entire team, and not just allowing children to make these type of decisions.
Exactly.
Safety is a huge issue. Um, my daughter leaves school at 1:30 every day because there's a group of girls that she don't want to have conflict with, because they were all once friends, and loyalty is one of the greatest things that I teach my children, which is something that we're learning every household doesn't have. Um, and because of the fact that the school sometimes doesn't see everything, it's difficult to put a label on what's bullying and what's not. We get a memo every Sunday reminding us we have to understand the ins and outs of bullying before we report something as bullying. The thing about it is, what's bullying to your child may not be bullying to my child. You don't know what type of mental turmoil certain things may put on one child that it doesn't put on another child. So we as adults have to be open minded, and we have to realize that these kids are the same kids that we used to be. We have to remember the things that we went through in the city. We have to remember some of the teachers that we encountered when we were in school that were not always nice. I hear a lot, oh, this city has become run down. Well, I remember growing up as a child, we used to hear the same gunshots. There just not have been as many. We've experienced the same deaths as teenagers. We've experienced the jumping and the fighting on Metro and all of these things. But as our children are experiencing them, parents are acting as though it's something foreign. The difference is, as Ms. Lovejoy and you all were saying earlier, we had a neighborhood that walked us to school In the morning when we got up to go to school, this mom was on the porch, that mom was on the porch.
Let me interject because before you go into that, because I did want to respond to one thing you said.
Mm-hmm.
As an educator in a school in DC, but you talked about the bullying, and to each child each child has a different definition of bullying. I want to put out that with DCPS there's a bullying policy. The bullying policy defines bullying. It's not up to anyone but the parent and the child to make sure that they have read and that they have understood the policy and what any school in DC's definition of bullying is. And that was the DCPS. And when you go on to the chartered schools and so forth, the Office of Human Resources also put out a policy for citywide policy that defines bullying and so forth. So I just wanted to interject so that the people understand that it is the students and the parents' responsibility solely to read the policies, to understand the policies, and to know that regardless of what you may think is bullying, this is what bullying is. And I go through this often, at work with people, with the kids. Like, oh, that's not even against the law. Like, look, I'm just following the rules, bro. I know you don't think it's that bad on your end. If I was outside and we was at the X2 bus stop, I probably wouldn't trip. But these are the rules here. You know what I'm saying? So I did want to point that out, but you can keep going.
And that's the issue, Pastor Campbell. That is the issue. No, I'm on the phone. Thank you. Thank you, baby. Thank you. And that is the issue. DCPS has issued a bullying policy, but all administration does not follow that bullying policy. All teachers do not follow that bullying policy. All parents don't make their children respect that bullying policy. And that is where we have a lot of issues to come in. We have gang violence. We have gang bullying. We have group violence. We have group bullying. We have these neighborhoods that have infiltrated our schools, that intimidate our children. All children, Ballou High School is a great high school. Let me start by saying that. Once you get into this school on an educational standpoint and get to know what the program is about and what the program stands for and what it is that is supposed to take place in this school, I had to build a certain type of village around my children in order to ensure that these policies and these opportunities are granted in the right way to my children. And I encourage all of our parents to do the same on an aspect of it takes a village. And until our community understand that it takes a village, we're going to continue to have this turmoil in our neighborhoods, in our schools. It's not just about inside the schools. It's also about the neighborhood outside of the schools that these babies have to travel to and from. It's also about what takes place on public transportation and around these bus stops and things where these children have to sit and wait for their transportation to get to and from school. As a resident of Ward 8, I feel like we need a revamping completely. Not just in our neighborhoods, but I'm going to also say as a person that ran for ANC in our government as well. Hello?
Can you hear me? I'm here. Mike, you still there? Chris?
Oh yeah, we're here. I was listening to Madam.
Oh, okay.
Miss Ofer, this is Chris. I just wanted to ask, as an ANC, as a former ANC, and we're both former ANCs, what, how do they help or not, or it could, in all of these things that you're talking about? How could the ANCs play a role?
I felt like needed to be in place was the safety, the cleanliness. When you wake as a person living in this area, waking up in a neighborhood and I walk around and I see trash and bottles and debris and intoxicated people laying out on the curbs and homeless people sleeping everywhere and excuse me, but prostitutes gathered on the corner, it's not going to make me want to be great. It's not going to make me want to flow with great energy. It's not going to make me want to be focused, especially when traveling to school in the morning. I feel like the ANCs could play a part in ensuring that the DC Works is making sure the grass is cut and the neighborhood is clean and the trash is picked up. Um, Getting out, advocating for our community, advocating for these children. That is what I feel like the ANC should be doing. It's not, I'm going to show my face when it's time for election. It's not, I'm going to show my face when I get a phone call. We're supposed to be out here. We're supposed to be beating our feet. We're supposed to be making sure these streets are safe. We're supposed to be making sure that the other ends of government are doing what they're supposed to be doing for the constituents. We are the voices of the communities. If I have parents complaining to me as the president of the Parent Ambassador Organization about things going on around in the community, around the school, I'm sure our ANCs are getting the same exact phone calls.
Yep.
Totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Well, there's this thing that we do every couple of years, and I think we call it an election.
Pastor Mike, before the election, though, to these issues, the budget is coming up, right? And it would be nice to fund and emphasize the prioritizations, which parts of town deserve better, deserve more, are owed it, as far as I'm concerned. I'm just looking that up. It looks like the schools, public witnesses for the schools is Friday, June 6th, under Chairman Phil Mendelson. So you can go to www.chairmanmendelson.com/live, I guess, to sign up, or go to the dccouncil.gov website and sign up there as well. But that's coming up on.
See, I didn't want to go there because I'm definitely for an argument that the schools of Ward 7 need a little bit more of the funding than any other ward in the city. So I didn't want to go there in particular.
You seen the front of my school lately? We need that money. Indeed,
but you're going to say it live
equally, all of them. All of the schools. And you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I feel like divesting in children's education, you're setting them up for a bad future. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not talking about divesting. I'm just saying that.
No. I'm just saying in general, because the mayor has cut budgets with certain programs at schools and stuff like that. And I feel like when you divest in a child rather than invest in them, you're setting them up for a bad future, because you never know what kind of skills that child will have. You understand? When you cut funding to wood shop class and electrical class and all of the hands-on type classes, and band and music, you're hindering the art of a child who may blossom in music class, who may make the best coffee table you ever seen in life.
I
You know,
totally agree.
so we need funding equally to all the schools except the privates, because private school gets their own funding. You understand?
I can't agree with to say that equal funding for all the schools. I mean,
We said
there are some schools that are in a better position. Their building is in better condition. They have more materials.
yeah, they do, but the
And so some schools have. I mean, that brings up a conversation about reparations. The whole point is that the ones that were left behind have to get caught up.
but the teachers are not getting paid their worth.
That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, I
But
was
as
about to
far
say
as the
that's a whole different
education,
conversation, because you have some of these teachers that don't respect their own worth and don't even deserve the little piece of paycheck that they are giving to them. Some of these teachers don't even deserve the title as teachers. And like Mr. Mike said, that's a whole nother conversation. So y'all can bring us, baby. That's a whole different conversation right there. When we get into the teachers.
It is.
Yeah, my tendency is to agree that this is an analysis that needs to show which communities have been left behind and which communities have been overinvested in. And there's never, it's weird to say overinvested, but
I mean, isn't that in the reparations?
it's pretty obvious, right? When you drive around the city, some schools get lots of attention, some don't. And it's time to right that ship. It's time to balance it out. I mean, that's fundamentally the central core principle of racial equity and equitable sort of policy and budgeting. So it isn't, if we say all schools equally, remember, equanimity is not the same as equity. Equality is not the same as equity. Equality, yes, we'll get there, but it's only after the equity it balances everything out to be equal. So we're kind of at that stage still where there's equity owed to certain parts of the city in order to bring us all up to the same equal footing. And until we're there, it does need a bit more sort of, I believe, a bit more pinpointed, targeted sort of investment into the schools that have been not so taken care of by the city for various reasons. We could say discrimination, we could say racial implications, it's going to be hard to prove that, but essentially it's pretty obvious to our eyes, to our experiences, what's going on. And it's time to make amends and repair the harms of the past.
Yes. Well said. Well said. Well, we are reaching the end of our show. Madam Long, we're going to have to get you to come back on.
I'm absolutely willing to.
Before I go, I do have to ask really quickly, yes or no, are you considering another run for commissioner?
We'll talk about it.
Whenever you say yes or no, you just never get a yes or no answer. But I'm used to it.
You're not about to publicly do that to me, Michael. You mentored me too well.
Okay. Well, it's a rainy day, but it's definitely a great day. I'm glad to know that the mayor is finally, we have a date, May 27th. Mark your calendars. The mayor will be dropping the budget on May the 27th. You want to pay attention to these things. You want to, I know we don't have enough time to go through every last page, but I encourage everyone to follow the Fair Budget Coalition. Follow your local organization that you support to make sure that dollars are going where you want them to go. Chris already talked about this is the season of testimony. Be sure to submit. If you can't attend, submit your written testimonies. If you can attend, be sure to sign up and go before the council and testify. You see actually in our intro that my brother Chris doesn't mind going down there testifying. I definitely have seen LaJoy down there testifying. I'm not going to act like I'm one that is always down there testifying before the council. Schedule just doesn't permit it a lot. I did make a decision within myself that I was going to start submitting more written testimony on the record. So that is my goal during this testimony season, is to submit written testimony. I do believe, I'm not sure if they're still doing it. There was a point where they were allowing you to submit video testimony. So that is something that we can look into as well. But that wraps us up here at the People's Voice DC. We'll see you next week, Wednesday at 2:30. We always re-air that evening at 7 p.m. This is the People's Voice.
Running, when I'm feeling the pain, I'm feeling the shame. Will I go numb? Will I go insane? It's cold, yeah. Shout out FHTMG, shout out Abu Dhabi, yeah. Running, from the feeling the pain, the feeling the shame. Will I go numb? Will I go insane? No, I just gotta pray. Oh, I just gotta pray. Running from the feeling the pain, the feeling the shame. Or will I go numb or go insane? No, you gotta pray. Oh, I gotta pray. I got a prayer for that. 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 Allah, I be standing, I need a favor. Could you forgive me? Could you forgive me? Raised in America, around all these terrorists. That's how I live. It's just how I live. And I know you give me so many chances. Stop being silly. Stop being silly. But I feel so tempted by women and winning. I've been distracted from what you've been giving. I live brain dangling, want my decision. I'm trying to avoid the most fiery finish. Drop all the goons and drop all the gimmicks. Then get invested and sit with the message. Show some discretion, I live at attention. Live with your mention and live in remembrance. Can't run from, I can't run from running from the feeling the pain, the feeling the shame. Will I go numb? Will I go insane? No.